morning, everybody. Welcome to the Daily Digest with Jimi Disu. And today is Thursday. I don't know if you've noticed that the pattern we have is on Tuesday we have a very serious subject. Then on Wednesday we have Diabumi where we fuff around. Thursday again we have a very serious issue coming up. And then on Friday we have the focus on youth development. And then Saturday is open. But before I go on, I'd like to express my condolence to the Alakija family, and especially to Patrick Doyle, the passing away of Mr. Yinka Alakija yesterday. They passed away in the morning, and I understand by 2 o'clock he was buried, according to his wishes. All of you, well, those who are high life and jazz enthusiasts who know Yinka Alakija and his Peak Quest Band, I think that was the name of his band, in his house in Yaba. But condolences go to also the Music Minds, where we used to have a rollicking party every once a year in December. Mr. Lakita, apart from being known for his music, is also well known amongst friends for his love for animals. I told Sheriff this morning, Sheriff almost ran out of the studio, that does he know that my friend Mr. Lakita, who died at the age of 77, that he loved animals almost to a fault. I know for sure. I know that snake. If he walks in here, well, it's like, oh, if he crawls in here now, I'll recognize it. Which was the last I saw of him, playing and fiddling with the snake. And I sent the photograph to Lobito. I know he had a turtle, a tortoise. I know he had tortoise. All I like is that told me yesterday that he had a monkey. And he had a gorilla. I also know that he had crocodiles. He loved all these, he was a jolly good fellow. And so my condolences to Patrick Doyle, Ola Lakija, Lobito, Mr. Brito, and a host of so many other, friends that he had. I heard he left instructions that he didn't want anything to remember him, but that instruction nobody told me. And I can't, verify it. So next week, Thursday, inshallah, by the grace of God, we'll be having a tribute to him here. Myself, Lobito, maybe Akin will also join us. Patrick Doyle says he can't join because he was the one who was told that there shouldn't be any celebration in his honor. May he so rest in peace. Yes, today, Jide Ajani is back, and I have a very funny feeling that as long as he writes these 2-page articles that he writes, he's the general editor of the Vanguard. As long as he writes these pieces, which are pieces that you should keep. I've told you that it is wise for us to inculcate the habit of reading. Not reading just anything, but things that would help us understand our country better. Jide, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
You've gone with another blaster. And the headline of what he has written is called Ahead of 2027, Why the Opposition Can't Upstage the Ruling Party. This one is going to be very hot. This one is going to be boiling. He talks about the 10 sins. Let me read them. 1, sin number 1. Sheriff Shombome. Yes, sir. Are you sleeping? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sin number 1, the greed of political editors. Political actors. Sin number 2, the role of money. Sin number 3, pressure from constituents. 4, fear of losing political relevance. 5, Ajib, any government in power. 6, absence of a second address. That is crucial. 7, lack of a sustainable party structure. 8, absence of internal party democracy. 9, state capture by ruling party leaders. 10, loss of faith in electoral empire and the electoral umpire. Again, why opposition can't upstage ruling party? I wish they could, but I don't think that they will. But tell me, why do you think that it's impossible? Or let us say near impossible, unless God intervenes for any opposition, as it were, to be able to upstage this government as it is.
Well, thank you very much.
Yes.
The original concept of the story
Yes.
was just to look at why we were discussing at our editorial conference
Go on.
in the office. So I just reeled out some historical facts about what had happened since 1999, and the editor picked on it and said, look, we must do a story about it. So it's actually about the 10 reasons why opposition parties become toothless. And it's even fortuitous that we are doing this today.
Yes.
When you interface what happened yesterday at the PDP office with what we are discussing,
Yes.
So, it was because we were thinking of what can we do to advance the cause of good governance and democracy that brought about this story idea at our editors meeting in the office. And if you look back from 1999, I heard you earlier talking about UPN and NPN.
Back in the day,
exactly.
Yes.
Part of what led to what we have today started in 1999, even before President Obasanjo became the president. After winning his ticket, or before winning his ticket, the parties then, AD, PDP, and APP, their chairmen were flexing muscle. But once the governorship candidates emerged and won, attention shifted from party secretariat to the residencies of the governors-elect. Once that happened, the powers of the party at the state level moved to the houses of the governors-elect. And once they were sworn in, it continued like that. Now, if the political party that is meant to be opposition is in the viceroy grip of just an individual, then whatever happens would happen based on his whims and caprices. That is why we are where we are today. And from what we can see, which you can also see, it is going to be very, very difficult. I won't say for the opposition to upstage or dislodge the ruling party, but it will be difficult for the opposition to come together as one and present a common front. And even if they do, if the political parties come together and do, because whatever they come up with will just be an SPV. Because if you look, the special purpose vehicle, just to get power.
Yes.
If you look at what happened in APC, they came together because of their different pockets of grievances with the system, with the ruling party, with individuals, and then formed that party. That is why we have what we have today.
How solid do you think the APC is as a party? With what's happening to the likes of El Rufai and a lot of disgruntled persons, even in the APC in the Southwest. I mean, take it or leave it, whatever you might think. Electoral, was a significant member of the APC in the Southwest. He shot himself in the foot, though. I must admit that because it was so bad that at one point during the primaries, he went down too personal on President Bola Tinubu, which I thought at that time was uncalled for and was very unfortunate. He went down personal all the way.
Now, you see, the strength of the APC is derived from the weakness of the opposition. That's the best way to put it.
Yeah.
Whatever weakness you see in the APC, whatever dysfunctionality you see in the APC, derives its strength and staying power from the shambolic nature of the opposition that we have. So if the opposition is not strong, no matter the internal strictures you experience in APC, it will not shake it to a point where it will feel threatened that something is coming. Look at Labour Party, for instance, in that same story.
Yes.
In fact, Sunday Vagad had done a more expansive version of what was happening to the opposition. Labour Party, as based on the results of the election, had about 35 reps. At the time Sunday Vagad did that story, and when I was doing this report, about whether 17 or 18 at the count.
They followed the money and followed the power.
Exactly. So when you look at those 10 things that we highlighted as reasons why opposition will remain toothless, you can just only begin to add whatever you want to add, but whatever you add will fall within those 10.
This pressure from constituents, pressure? Would it be pressure on the political leader? Would the pressure be that their people are demanding so-called benefits of democracy, or it would be difficult for him to meet their personal needs. Because, like I said, they follow the money or and the power. If you say a man is Mr. Fix-It in politics, like one governor said the other day that the governor of, was it Bauchi, that Wiki bankrolled, you understand that? So then they follow. So which one is more prevalent? The power to be able to finance your constituents, or your constituents will be demanding that we want to go in this direction and not in that direction.
No, I will use the Abacha example.
Who?
Abacha.
Abacha. Yes.
Abacha wanted to rule Nigeria as a civilian president.
Mm-hmm.
So what did he do? He got the 5 fingers of a leprous hand, according to late Dr. Chivola Ige, to begin to endorse him as a sole candidate before divine intervention. So the pressure from constituents at times can actually be choreographed by the political leader who is eyeing the opposition party, the ruling party, so that he can join them.
For his own benefit.
Exactly. Just simply instigate some thought leaders within the ward or local government to begin to sell the idea that the palliatives, for instance, that the ruling party leaders are getting, we in the opposition, we can't get them. And we are suffering.
And we are hungry.
Exactly. Especially in the situation where you have weaponized poverty, such that it is a degree of weaponization that you look at. We only think that the weaponization is against the masses, the downtrodden. No. Even the so-called political leaders too feel the heat. Because if you are in something for the money and the money is not coming, you look for every which way to get what you want. So the pressure from constituents derives from what the leader, and I wrote that the leader himself wants to move, but he's waiting for a trigger. And the constituents are looking at their neighbors in the other streets or the other house who are members of the ruling party, bringing bags of rice, bringing packets of Indomie or noodles. They too want to be part of it. And that's where this saying about the people deserve the leaders
that they have. What about when you talk about lack of sustainable party structure? That's what we have in the PDP now, for example.
It's not just PDP, even APC. Almost all the parties. See, like I wrote there's a difference between an organogram, organizational structure where you have GM or national chairman, national secretary, organizing secretary. That is one thing. But for those personalities who occupy those offices to function in a virtuous manner, there must be an ideal behind it. The ideal is not there. What you just see is the frame. But inside the frame is like a sepulcher. It is painted white. You can see it is white. But what is inside? The party structures are not strong enough. And something leads to the other. Because if the party you mentioned it, in the Second Republic, the national chairman of UPN, or national leader of UPN, Baba Awolowo, or national chairman of National Party of Nigeria, MPN, Chief Adisa Akinloye, when they move with the full force of the weight of the office of the chairman of that party.
Yeah.
And none of the chairmen or leaders then were in anybody's pockets. But today, a national chairman of a party is seen as national chairman. In terms of structure, yes, he's the national chairman. But he has a godfather somewhere who calls the shots, which is what you are seeing in PDP now.
Yes.
That's exactly what you are seeing in PDP. Whatever people say about those on the one side or the other side, there are people backstage who are pulling the strings. If the party structure was so firm, you won't have an individual or a group of individuals, the one we usually call the cabal, pulling the strings. The party will be driven by a set of ideals. And those ideals would lead to progressive developmental governance.
Do you think that you didn't discuss in these 10 things, you didn't talk about molds, where the party plants molds in, which is what I think is happening. I think there are a lot of APC agents in the PDP, and they don't need to apologize to anybody for doing so. That's politics.
A mole becomes a mole because there's something driving him.
Yes.
It's either he wants to get power, or he wants to also have access to money.
Or he's paid to do so.
Money, exactly, money.
Yes.
And it's a common knowledge. In a particular Southwest state, I won't mention the name, since 1999, the executive members of the state chapter of the party had always been in the pocket. Most of the members have always been in the pocket of the governor of that state, who is from another party. And it has not changed. Unfortunately, that is what we are beginning to see at the national level.
I'd like to mention, I forgot to mention that Didi Adani was one-time SSA media to Governor, what's his name?
Sheyi,
fondly called Sheyi by people in this country. But Sheriff, don't ask him about that chieftaincy title or something, because I saw you look up. Don't ask him anything concerning the issue of Alafi.
I'm not involved.
He's not involved. We are going to open up our lines anytime from now, 0201 2770993 and 0201 465 7190. And the WhatsApp will be 0809 597 5805. Currently, I want to ask you a clear-cut question, because you can see he's been in the corridor of power and politics. Do you think the PDP will ever get themselves organized? Or you think these big bats will keep going on till...
It will keep going on, because what we are seeing is not new. When
Yes.
Obasanjo was president of Nigeria,
Yes.
and as a PDP leader, we saw what happened to the other parties until 2014 or 2013, 2014, when they got their acts together and then bonded together to wrestle power from the PDP. So, as long as we have what we have today in Aso Rock, a determined politician who knows what he wants and knows how to get it. You may disagree
A
with...
ruthless politician.
Yes, you may disagree. I
won't
won't use the word ruthless. You can use the word ruthless.
No,
but he knows,
when
he knows
I say
what he wants.
ruthless, I don't mean ruthless in a criminal manner.
Okay.
What I mean ruthless in the sense that...
Politically speaking.
Politically speaking. No, I didn't mean it in that.
Just like Obasanjo, so long as you have him there, I don't see how they will resolve what they are... I don't see how they... Even if he doesn't, as an individual, engineer it, people who would want to be seen as doing his bidding or wanting to be in his good books would go to any length to ensure, because like you asked if APC is strong enough, and I said the strength of APC is derived from the weakness of the opposition parties. So for as long as this drama, PDP and Labour Party,
they also hold the key. Our one is Shaura. Wow.
Who are the
you know what Shaura is?
Who are the they?
The APC.
Well, I reserve my comments.
Why do you do that? You must be okay. You're a PDP man.
I'm not. No.
You work for a PDP man. Let's pick that call, Sheriff. Yes. Hello. Good morning. Good morning. Very quickly. Quickly. One. Yes. Not less than a minute. Yes.
Quick one. Some people are jubilating, throwing jabs at PDP. I think they are good. They are happy with what APC is dishing out. For me, the masses are the problem. How many are these party members? If the masses decide and said, look, forget about APC and PDP, let's vote on another party. And INEC and the security agents are my problem too. We are more than these guys. How many are they? People are jubilating, PDP is very dead and gone, which means they are okay with what APC is dishing out to them.
Okay.
Udogu 1 and 2, we all are in for it.
Thank you. Let me ask you a direct question. Do the masses matter in all of this?
They do not.
Do elections matter in all of this?
Elections do not. That's why the last point there is the lack of faith in the electoral umpire. If Nigerians are sure that when they mobilize, their votes will count the way it should count, things will begin to change. But then, which one comes first? Which one comes? You know how long it took President Buhari to sign the 2022 Electoral Act into law? He was supposed to have done it before 2019 elections, but the system, in quotes, delayed, such that the same flawed legislation was used for 2019 elections for a second term. Now, people have started raising issues with the 2022 Electoral Act, which Buhari signed. But what are our legislators doing? They're not even looking in that direction, because most of them are beneficiaries of the flaws in that Electoral Act. So if we don't get the electoral system working, that was why the last time I came here, it was about the Ghana elections.
Yes.
Ghanaians are now sure that, look, our votes count. And even before the Electoral Commission announced the results, the opposition candidate had known that he had lost.
Maybe if God intervenes, our votes will count. We'll take we'll take a short break now, and when we come back, I'll continue with Jide and Diani, and we'll take more of your questions. So don't go away.
Nigeria Info. We'll be right back.
In the cooking game, you need a winning game plan. I'm not just talking about your fresh ingredients, utensils, or cooking skills. I'm talking about your choice of seasoning. Your game plan is incomplete without Maggi chicken flavor. Made with a flavorful formation of onions, celery, turmeric, it's the game changer. Elevate the taste of your everyday dishes with delicious rich chicken flavor. Oh yeah, let's go.
New Maggi chicken flavor, the game changer.
Mr. Teacher, please, what happens when children come to school? How is it that they leave home very neat and return looking so different?
Non-stop action, ma. All the learning and sports burn energy. So those sweat stains, torn uniforms, and dirty shoes, they show that your kid has been very active.
Now, wow.
Your kids need nourishing energy. Give them the new and improved Milo at breakfast. It has nutrients that support energy release to help them get the most out of their day. Milo, energy to go further.
Milo!
Life's full of crazy moments that whisper, do you have the guts? And when your body screams stop, but you need to go one more time, that's Dubai confidence.
Pitching a bold, out-of-the-box idea in a boardroom full of suits? That's Dubai confidence.
That's nervous hand shooting up to answer a question no one else dares to tackle? That's Dubai confidence.
Reaching for that skyscraper high jump? You bet! That's Dubai confidence. That Dubai confidence comes from wearing the Dubai antiperspirant and deodorant with 48 hours all-round protection. Dubai, own your grind. Available in stores near you.
Mommy, you want to watch YouTube?
Not my phone again. Every time YouTube.
Mommy, you want to watch YouTube?
Not with my phone. Go and watch TV.
But there's no YouTube on our TV.
That's before. With the new Airtel Smart Router, for just 25,000 naira, you can watch YouTube and more on any TV, even our own TV.
Really? Yay! Thank you, Mommy.
Oh, you're welcome.
Turn any TV into a smart TV with the Airtel Smart Router and watch Nollywood movies, football, and lots more on YouTube with unlimited data for 30 days. Airtel, a reason to imagine.
Meals have a way of taking us on a journey. And when you add plenty of vegetables like efo, ugu, and season with the rich taste of Knorr seasoning cubes, even better.
So, go ahead and elevate your meals with more vegetables and the rich taste of Knorr cubes. Today, eat for good.
Every person in my life deserves breakfast. Brother me deserves all the nourishment he can get. Mama Nkechi Nko, she has such a big heart. She deserves a breakfast that can nourish her. And let's not forget my little sister. This Peak Mini is just her size.
There's nourishment for you with the Peak Mini Pack. Peak. Reach for your peak.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is your pilot speaking. Today we have some special passengers on board. 3 Betano members are going to England to watch Aston Villa live. Congratulations, Emeka, Yemi, Ibrahim.
Play with Betano and stand a chance to win an all-inclusive trip to the UK to watch live the big game of Aston Villa versus Tottenham. Betano, proud partner of Aston Villa. Play responsibly. Available only to those over the age of 18. The promo is valid from November 1st to February 28th, 2025.
It's 2025. The biggest conversations are happening on Hard Facts.
If the mother of Bebolo was genuinely interested in local government funds, would have protested to the council.
Somebody is receiving 30,000 naira after serving the country for 5 years.
From the stories shaping Nigeria's future.
And the double my mood for that whenever people are clapping, he's praising singers when they ought to be telling him the truth.
And he did not do any remarkable thing in your state, and you are celebrating corruption time.
To real-time feedback from you, the citizens.
There is propaganda. They can never make it work. I will not support that tax reform. If NBS is turning out very fake data to us because this data lacks empirical evidence.
We dig deep with the decision makers, hold the powerful accountable, and keep the conversation alive on social media. Join Mary Ann Okon every Monday to Friday, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. for the most interesting news and current affairs show on radio.
I'm so sorry. I hate it when people make assertions from very skewed and biased places.
Hard Facts on Nigeria Info 99.3. Let's talk.
You are listening to your number one station for talk.
Your number one station for talk.
99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
You're listening to Jimi Disu right here on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Yeah, welcome back to the Daily Digest, and thankfully the mic was not on for the quiet gist we had off record. Okay, back to I've been talking to Jide Ajani, and we are reviewing this was the Vanguard of which day now, the 21st of January, ahead 2027, where opposition can't upstage ruling party. So if they can't upstage the ruling party, is it a given that 2027 that's it?
No, it's not a given. Anything can still happen. The last caller...
In politics, they say 24 hours is a long time.
Yes, even 12 hours. The last caller was talking about people jubilating that PDP is in distress. No, people are not jubilating. It's just the reality of what is on ground that people are reacting to. It's just the reality. Okay, what would you say is the problem of the leaders of PDP? That in the situation they have found themselves, rather than unite, they are still fighting one another.
Because they are fighting for themselves.
Good. So when the guy was talking about the masses, we are more than them. Yes, we are more than them. But the way the system is structured, in fact, the 10 of them can be more than a million of us.
I was frightened. It's not as if I didn't know. Sheriff and I talk about this almost regularly. When I asked you pointed questions, do the masses matter in all this? And you said no. No.
The only way the masses would matter is because look, people blame the masses every time. But you forget that these same masses, there's a section of the masses that are still virtuous, principled, and still mean well. In fact, but for the masses of Nigeria, this country would have long gone.
Yeah.
Because the average cleaner, your messenger, your office assistant, your bus conductor, the bus driver, those artisans, your barber, the mechanic, all those people are the ones. That's why our economy, the informal sector, thrives more. And that's where the real struggle is. So they are the ones that are actually keeping the country. Left to the politicians, this country would have been sold, people would have collected their change and disappeared.
Honestly.
So the masses, when we say the masses don't matter, is within the construct of the political system. Because whereas a section of the masses would think straight and expect something good, another section will be justifying and rationalizing what is pure hubris. And there's this, when you talk about Stockholm Syndrome, you discover that victims of oppression are even the ones ailing their oppressors.
Yeah, you can say that again.
So we have found ourselves in a situation where rather than people stand up for what is right for all times, they stand up for what they think is right because they are benefiting. No matter how vile anything is, just look at it, no matter how vile anything is, so long as some people are benefiting from it, they'll tell you, you can excuse it, it's okay.
Then are you telling me that irrespective of the performance of the government, nothing will change.
Like I said earlier, how would things change? There's a process. What's the process? Elections.
Yes.
You have an election management body that appears compromised and in whom people have lost faith. So where do we start from?
So you think that the numbers will probably go down by 2027?
The voting,
yes.
Of course. There was a story.
There'll be apathy.
Yes. It's because, look, and I said give it to Professor Mahmoud Yakubu. The type of mobilization he did before the 2023 general elections about the promises he made to Nigerians, beyond what people call obedience, the promises that the INEC chairman made galvanized a lot of Nigerians to believe that for once their votes exactly. But unfortunately, what did they get? What they ordered was not what they got, like they say.
Yes, that is what you say. Loss of. Well, what about this thing about second address?
No, it's
unemployment has thrown that up now.
No,
you find loads of politicians who have no other job to do.
No, it's not even because of that. Like I said, you have trained lawyers, trained architects, engineers, nuclear scientists, among these people we call politicians.
Yeah.
But because of the way they went into politics, they found a more convenient way of making money and having access to our common patrimony. So why do the hard work when you have an easy access? So that's some of them have never practiced. There's a minister who said he read law, and I'm not sure anybody knows if he has ever practiced.
But there's a speaker who says he's a lawyer.
Is it the one that was removed?
No, I don't know if it was. But some of them we are learning. It's an afterthought after the.
No. There are some. There are some who actually.
Yes, there are some. Yes,
who have acquired good education, maybe through ancestry, or their privileged position in society. There was a ministerial. No, the head of one of the very powerful agencies during Buhari's time, a young man of 26 or 24. He was made the board chairman, and people said, "No, what has he done?" Yes, his CV very impressive, but what has he done? Where has he worked? It took people raising their voices before that nomination was suspended. So if that person had become the board chairman, he would have access to the
in this list that you have here, there's nothing that shows the contribution of the media. Because whether we like it or not, we must recognize the media has a role to play. But I think that our media to a large extent has been compromised. True or false?
No, if you say,
I didn't say all.
Exactly. So
I said it has been largely.
Section.
That's why I said largely.
And that largely, and that section, if you look at it very well, you look at who are the financiers. If a media house is tied to the apron strings of the politician, what do you expect? Who pays the piper dictates the tone. So that's what you have. You can begin to list some newspapers.
Yes, and you
know their owners.
You find their fingers in a lot of these pies.
Exactly, and you give it to the media too. A few journalists, a few editors, you still see what they do. You read what they write. They still try to do their own bit without sounding self-righteous.
Now that you are here, I found something odd. Sheriff and I found something odd when there were reports about Chief Afe Babalola withdrawing his case. None of the papers reported the reaction from Dele Farotimi. What do you think was responsible for that?
No, I don't think so.
We didn't see.
You can say
only Premium Times. Only Premium Times. The next of the third day. It was the third. Abi Sheriff. Yeah. It was on the third day. The newspapers, and
No, the third day of what? The third day of
the let's say
this happened on Monday.
Happened on Monday.
Yeah, today is Thursday.
No, so the Premium Times carried the reaction yesterday. When they were reporting on Tuesday, Jide, there was no attempt to even say a phone call was put through to Dele Farotimi.
No, but there were reports about his own reaction.
No,
I read some.
You must have read it from the Premium Times. Because that's the job we do here.
No.
We had the Vanguard didn't report it. Punch didn't report it because I kept stressing. I read the story. I couldn't see anything.
Apart from Premium Times, there were reports online. Because I
didn't get my reports in the hard copy.
The way news flows at times, you rush some things
It was a flaw. If you could get the Afebola, just writing one sentence to say a phone call was forwarded to him, even if you didn't do it, we know the name of the game now. You know, it's my constituency. You can say we tried. There was no mention made, and his response was very, very vital, which shows me that the media itself has to brush up. They have to brush up, and it's some of our people to also compromise. In this, not unexpected. After all, they're Nigerians, but I know you find that difficult. That difficult to want to admit. How come you've gone silent?
No, I'm waiting for you to finish.
Okay, I'll finish.
Okay. Look, we admitted that a section.
Yes.
There will always be a Judas.
Yes.
In a company of 12.
But do we have more Judases than Jesuses?
No, except we do a head count, and we have to do an audit of that. But the challenge we have today is that you look at Nigeria as a nation, and you look at Nigerians, what they are doing.
Yes.
You cannot extricate what is on ground from what Nigerians
are doing.
So it's across borders, because the media is always in everybody's face.
Yeah,
that's why. And it's also because the police that people vilify so much is always on the road. That's why we see what they do that is bad. Across professions, across offices,
it's not any different from the judiciary and all of that. I think we have one or two calls there. Hello, good morning.
Hello, okay, good morning.
Morning, sir. Can you speak up a bit, sir?
Good morning to your guest.
Yes, sir.
I'm Ben from Eba.
Yes, sir.
Not only what Yakub Mahmoud did before the 2023 election, he practicalized it. You remember Edo election?
Yes.
IREF worked according to the new Electoral Act Buhari signed 2022. IREF must correspond with what came out from the polling unit. IREF must correspond with what came up from the ward and the local government and the state coalition.
Yeah.
That was the constitution. Edo worked, Anambra worked, Osho worked, Ekiti worked, Ondo worked. All of them, people were very happy. That was what motivated Nigerians. But look at what happened after the 2023 election. They shut down IREF as concerning presidential election. They did not give the ad hoc workers password concerning presidential, but the Senate and the House of Assembly, they give them password. And after that one, when they went to court, Supreme Court Ariwola now judged that IREF is not a collation. It's not a collation. It's not part of collation. He judged it. Immediately he judged it. Most of them were started rejoicing in the court. All of them, then this rigging started. The Supreme Court judged it, messed up everything. That you carry a result from ward to local government to this. That is not recognized. That is why you saw all the shenanigans that happened. And it happened in Kogi. It happened in Imo State. It happened in Edo. It happened in Ondo. It may happen in Anambra. That is what, if another new electoral act is not implemented again. So Yakub Mahmoud tried his best to. It is Supreme Court that destroyed the electoral system.
Well, that is your view. I thank you, sir. I also believe that no matter the reforms you put into the electoral process, once there is no consequence for flouting any of those things, we are not going anywhere.
I agree with you. And that's where the Ghana example comes in again. The commission chairman spent over a decade in that office. Institutional memory, integrity intact. But in Nigeria, what do you have? The few people who have tried to stand up for what is right don't either get their appointments renewed or are just thrown out. In fact, yesterday, a professor who was involved in electoral fraud in Akwa Ibom, there are two of them. One has already been convicted. The second one, the case, I think they issued a bench warrant or so for him yesterday. They were involved in electoral fraud in Akwa Ibom. And it was because the REC then in the states, lawyer, Mike Igini, was insistent on following the rules. Even the so-called Edo that my good brother, the last caller, talked about, at the last minute, they were almost going to change the figures. They were waiting for some results to come in. And then the guys were already there on ground, but they refused to come to the coalition center and announce the figures.
But I wonder why these infractions are so.
Let me give you another example. The last time I was here, I talked about one professor, Ebano, the director of operations at INEC then. He was a national commissioner too. When they did the elections that brought Soludo in,
yes,
what people had scripted wouldn't have allowed for the emergence of a Soludo. APC would have won. The man stood his ground. You had insider dealings. The commission itself and some transporters, for instance, let me give an example. Transporters, for instance, were outpaid not to deliver election materials. Insider dealings. So no matter the reforms you try to put in place in terms of legislation, if you don't have people of integrity, there's a difference between the law and the person. If the person is not willing to follow the letters of the law, no matter the law you put in place, it will not work. That's what is happening in Ghana. That's what happened in Ghana. Look, Electoral Act 2022. If INEC had followed it truly, look, there were pre-election petitions, there were post-election petitions, and you ask yourself, these pre-election petitions, what happened to them? I'll give you an example. The Chief Judge of the Federal High Court set some rules in place that will be followed for pre-election petitions arising from primaries. Even the rules were flouted by the High Court in Abuja for some candidates to emerge and eventually hold very sensitive offices today in this country. So when you talk about reforms, it's not so much of the laws, it's the individuals. If you don't have men of integrity who can stand by virtuous behavior, you will not get anywhere. And then what makes it worse is that if there's no consequence for bad behavior, it will thrive. It will thrive. You can imagine if, as we are very aware, in almost all the states where election infractions occurred, people were brought to book. It will begin to reduce.
Yeah.
To begin exactly. But you need people of integrity to rise up and do that. The same Mike Guinea, I'll tell you another one in the same Akwa Ibom. Somebody emerged as candidate for a particular senatorial zone. Eventually, matters went to court. At the end of the day, somebody else became the candidate who did not even participate in the original primaries that threw up the original winner. And the person is in office. So if it had worked for that individual, he will try it again. Look at the issue of the former Senate president from Yobe. The person who won, people went to court. Lawan, who is now in the Senate, did not participate in the primaries that threw up the original winner.
Yeah.
But by one legal gymnastics, he became the candidate and he won the elections and in the Senate. So if things like that have happened and there are no consequences, people will try it again and they will still get away with it.
All right, we have to pick another call here. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Uncle Jimmy.
Morning.
This is Pastor Ladipo, calling from Orilegom. Uncle Jimmy, I want to ask a question. The First and Second Republic, up to the Third Republic, was there any time money was the primary focus of those politicians then, to the extent that they were able to buy every sector over? Because I'm looking at what is happening now. I think the main challenge with this Fourth Republic politicians is that they have access to so much money, to the point that even the judiciary now is at their beck and call. Even the journalists or the media, they are in total control of it. So my question is, how was it possible that the First, Second, and Third Republic were able to control some of these things? Thank you, sir.
I can easily tell you the level of poverty was not as bad. So back in the day, you could be principled and survive. But the individual expectations have gone up. People are, because of poverty, they have more mouths to feed, and they have balances to meet. And therefore, I mean, that's a simple analogy, Abi, Jide.
Yeah, it's just what you said earlier, what we were discussing earlier. If there is no consequence for bad behavior,
there's no consequence for bad behavior, yes.
That's just.
Okay, let's take another caller because we'll soon be out of here. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Uncle Jimmy, and your guest in the studio.
Morning, sir.
Yeah, my name is Peter Sifu. I'm calling from Abaronje in Ekoto.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, my take is on what other opposition parties have been saying against APC. Though, not that I love less, but I love Nigeria more. So I want to speak like a patriot. Not that people will not see me as speaking for APC.
Yes.
So for other parties to say that APC is building molds, having molds in their opposition party, that is why, they are in disarray. Why they cannot come together as one, like in PDP, what happened yesterday in Abuja, their secretariat during their BOT meeting, and Board of Trustees meeting, in LP, Labour Party, even ANPP, So to me, it is laughable, irritating, and infuriating for them to say that. And I believe that probably Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the most ingenious politician we have ever had in this our own generation, in this our own time. Because, for instance, if you say that an outsider is the cause of commotion or problem in a family that between husband and wife, I don't blame the outsider. I blame the husband and wife for not putting heads together to make sure that their problem is solved in order to shame the outsider or outsider. So,
okay, sir, you have a minute. You just have a minute. Your point has been made.
I'm not sure we ascribed the powers of omnipotence, omnipresence, and omniscience to any individual.
No, we didn't.
And nobody even said that the reasons why the opposition parties are in disarray is because there are moles. No.
There's nothing wrong in having moles. It's part of the strategy.
Even the greed of the politicians in the opposition, too, is a problem.
It's a problem.
Their lack of organization is a problem. The lack of sincerity is a problem.
Let's quickly take one more. And please try and contain yourself within 1 minute. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Jogun 1
Yes, sir.
Joel Gabriel calling from Lekki.
Yes, sir.
Uncle Jimmy, like your guest said, if we like, we change the constitution 1 million times, Uncle Jimmy. Our behavior, no, come on, we are not going anywhere. With our behavior, if we don't change our behavior, if we like, let's change the constitution 1 million times. Uncle Jimmy, do you know where we are now? Do you know where we are, sir? Now, the state of Nigeria now is, for example, a man who is very hungry, and you stretch forth your hand to give him or her food, and you are still telling the man story. The man is almost dying of hunger. You are telling him story.
Okay.
So just give me the food, or God. I just want to eat.
Okay, your point has been made. Thank you very much. It's 9:52. Jide, thank you very much. We could go on speaking for 2 hours about this. But like I always say to people, our job is just to sensitize them, to set them thinking. And I hope that maybe, just maybe, we might have a change of attitude and a change of action thereof. That's where we're going to end it for today. Tomorrow I have a couple who are coming to the studio to tell us the story how they started their cream business. And on Saturday I'm going to have a gentleman who is now a lawyer. He's what do they call now? I don't want to use the word blind. What do they call? He's
impaired.
He's visually impaired. Yes, he's visually impaired. He just graduated from the University of Lagos, and he's going to come and tell his story, which I think will be a source of encouragement to us all. I'd like to thank Jide Danny. Thank you very much for coming. I hope you enjoyed your coffee.
I did.
You did, yes.
Which I bought with my money. Anybody listening will think you bought it for me. I bought it.
I like that one.
You know, Tam David West, he drank tea, and that. Tam David West, he drank tea.
It's for security reasons. I don't want anything to happen to you. And you say it's Jimi Disu that bought you the coffee. But next time you come, I promise you will. You go not just with coffee, also with a sandwich. And sandwiches are very good. Sheriff, thank you very much for being here. Okay, now, What's Up Lagos comes up next, so don't go away. Don't touch that dial.
.3
Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk. 99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk. 99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.